Hi there, my name is Michael Tasner, and I'm the CEO and founder of No Joke Marketing for Childcare. So we work with Montessori schools, preschools, daycare centers, childcare centers, nonprofits, and alike to really focus on helping them grow. And by way of growth, I mean enhancing and growing enrollment to the point where you're either looking at opening up another center or you're opening up a wait list. So this is the second video in a series of 6. In the first video, I just kind of gave you a high-level overview of what our paid traffic strategy looks like and why that's a really good strategy to grow enrollment. In this video, I'm just going to give you a couple other tactics that we've used to work with centers, and I'll come back to paid traffic towards the end, but I want to give you some other options and ideas of what we're seeing. So we work with about 150, 160 different centers on a monthly basis. So in doing that, we're able to get lots of analytics and even analytics on campaigns that we might not necessarily been helping with because we largely focus on digital, but we can get other analytics. How did this work? How did that work? What didn't work? And so on. So I'm going to rapid fire a couple of tactics at you that you may or may not have used. And if you hadn't used them, you might want to consider using them as well. So the first one that's quite common with childcare centers, and I'm going to use the word childcare centers in generality to refer to all different types of centers, is direct mail. And what we like about direct mail is that we can be really specific. So certain neighborhoods you can target. So if there's new communities, for example, you can target people that have kids. You can target certain income levels. There's a lot of really great targeting. Now, it works, but the asterisk that I would give you is that this isn't a tactic that's going to drive, 100 new enrollments for you in a couple of weeks. This is something that you have to work on and work on and work on. So I'll just use some simple numbers, for example. So let's say you're going to do a mailing of 5,000, and that's you work on the numbers and you back into, hey, we want to do 5,000. Again, I'm just making up some numbers on the fly here. I would push back a little bit and say, let's do 4,000, but let's do essentially 1,000. And I want to hit those same people up 4 to 5 times. So that's typically the biggest mistake that I'm seeing with direct mail is that you go really broad with trying to hit as many people when you actually should go a little bit more narrow on your perfect families that you're trying to attract and put together a series of 4 to 5 different postcards. You definitely want to use oversized postcards, and you need to have some kind of really good offer. It can't just be come enroll your child. Whether you want to do a week free, or you've got scholarships available, or an open house, or something to entice them, but you want to hit them up over the course of about 60 to 75 days with 4 to 5 different cards. So that's one tactic you can definitely look at using, and we've used it to some pretty good success, but it's one of those that will add some additional enrollments, but nothing that's going to take you, again, let's say you're at 50 enrollments, but your capacity is 130, you're not going to end up adding those 80 people just through direct mail. Tactic number 2, a lot of you like to use magazines. So there's different types of magazines, and you could put newspaper in a similar category. So let's just say newspaper or magazines. What I like about this is that there's a lot of really specialty magazines in a lot of the communities. So if you have a specialty one, like I live in Buffalo, New York, and there's literally a magazine for parents that is just for parents in the area. Now, if your center has multiple locations, that's perfect for that magazine, unless they can take it down to only delivering it in the communities that you like. So another mistake that a lot of people are making, a lot of directors or owners of these centers are making with doing magazine or newspaper advertising is, again, they're casting a really, really wide net, and it's advertising to people that you're paying for, but they're not going to drive 24 miles to your center, for example. So unless you have multiple centers across the area, magazines and newspapers tends to not nearly be as effective. But it's great if you've got 3, 4, 5, 6 different locations. Third tactic we've used is radio advertising, but it's similar to the last ones. It's very, very similar. You're advertising on some hit radio stations, and that's really the secret sauce, is you want to get the actual DJ involved, whoever the personality is. You want to make sure you focus on drive time, so the best times. But again, if you're not serving lots of different areas in the community, radio is going to be one of those really tough ones. You may end up enrolling a couple of new people, but it's not going to be that difference maker that adds 50, 60, 70 enrollments, because the listeners could be spanning 30, 40, 50 miles depending on the actual station. And that brings me kind of full circle back to paid traffic. I mean, I am just such a huge fan of paid traffic and leveraging different types of paid traffic and really driving them to a landing page. And we'll talk about a landing page in the next video. But what we're doing is we're hyper targeting the right people. And then we're going to hyper target on the landing page. So your messaging and your copy really resonates with the particular parents and families that are looking at your landing pages. So unlike the other tactics I just talked about, and they all can work, but with paid, I can literally narrow in on exact communities, families, parents, income levels, and so on. So I hope that this has given you some more insight. Again, we're going to talk more about paid traffic because that's the one that we have seen the best success with. So check out video number 2. Or video number 3 rather. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you in the next video.